Historic day indeed, as the wait for the COVID vaccine has finally ended. Two vaccines have been approved for emergency use in India. One is the Pune-based Serum Institute's Covishield and the other is Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. The Drug Controller General of India has said both vaccines are 100% safe and both vaccines will have to be administered in 2 doses. Concerns of storage of these vaccines is also minimum, as both can be stored between 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. Now, hailing the scientific community, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted saying the decision has strengthened the spirited fight against COVID of this country. Now, to discuss what this means and more, first I want to go across to Dr. Randeep Guleria, the AIIMS Director. Dr. Guleria, in many ways, has been the face of India's anti-COVID campaign, having repeatedly addressed the media, having repeatedly dispelled many buts and myths about the COVID virus. Dr. Guleria, thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now. I appreciate you taking some time out. It is indeed a historic day. First, let me just start off by asking you your thoughts and reactions.
So I think I'd like to start by wishing you all a very happy new year and say that this new year has really brought for India a great present, and this is a historic day because now we have 2 vaccines which are not only manufactured in India, but one of them is also made in India. So this is a huge achievement for our scientists and a big relief for our country, because now we will not have to depend on vaccines from outside the country, but we will be able to manufacture our own vaccines and distribute it to the citizens who need it. And this is, I think, a big way in trying to really get over this pandemic. So it's a great day for India and a great day in our fight against COVID-19.
Well, Dr. Guleria, it certainly is. But there are some concerns that have been raised about the manner in which approvals have been given to Bharat Biotech. Now, I don't mean to play party pooper here or dampen spirits in any way, but I feel these concerns need to be addressed, especially by somebody like you. Now, one concern about Bharat Biotech is that perhaps the clearances have been rushed, considering that phase 3 trials are still underway and the efficacy data has not yet been obtained.
Yes, efficacy data is not complete as far as phase 3 trials are concerned. But I think we need to look at it that as far as the safety data is concerned, there's robust safety data both from phase 2 and limited phase 3 trial. What I can make out is that the use of this Bharat Biotech vaccine is only in an emergency situation if we have a problem happening in terms of the variant strains or a huge surge in the number of cases, and we need to really hike the number of people who need to be vaccinated. Our backbone of vaccination will continue to be the Serum Institute of India vaccine, Covishield. But in case we have a situation where we find that the efficacy of that vaccine is coming down, we will have another vaccine which is on a different platform available to vaccinate our people. Or we find that, as is happening in UK, in Europe, or in the US, that there is a huge surge in the number of cases and we need to prevent that, then vaccine will become another tool to really bring down the number of cases, and then we will need more doses. And there also, as an emergency situation, the Bharat Biotech vaccine will be available. But I don't see it happening immediately. I think in the first few weeks, it will be the Serum Institute of India vaccine which will be administered. In the meantime, I think more and more robust data in terms of efficacy and safety from phase 3 trial will come up. But the company will start making the more doses and stockpiling that, so that hopefully we will get the necessary approval as Serum Institute has gotten, and will be able to use this vaccine also. So I think this is a backup rather than something which is being rolled out upfront.
Okay, so Dr. Guleria, I think that's a very important clarification, and correct me if I'm wrong in any way of interpreting what you have said. Covaxin is going to be more of a backup. Currently, in terms of preference of vaccines, it's going to be serum that is going to be administered to everybody. But what does that mean in terms of what happens to the clinical trials of Bharat Biotech? Does that still go on as is, and does the clinical trial almost double up then as a vaccination process as well?
Clinical trials will go on and they will continue. Clinical trials are different, and because they are a randomized trial, there are some people who will get a placebo in that trial. So there are already almost 22,000 people who have enrolled into the trial. The target is 25,000. But then after that, you need to follow them up. And then you need to see how many of them develop COVID infection, and then break the code and see how many of them got infection in the placebo arm, how many of them got infection in the vaccinated arm, and therefore you will get robust efficacy data. There is also an interim analysis that can be done, that if you have so many, let's say, infections that have occurred, then you can break the code and see how many of these infections occurred in the placebo arm and how many of them occurred in the trial arm, the drug arm. So that will continue. That cannot stop because we need to have more data. And this will also continue subsequently because we need long-term follow-up as far as safety and efficacy is concerned. The trials have to continue. So like I said, this is just a backup from what we have as far as Serum Institute is concerned. They have 50 million doses which are available for the country, and they should be good enough for the first phase where we are going to do the frontline workers and the healthcare workers. By that time, more and more data will come in from Bharat Biotech, and we will be more confident about the vaccine in terms of its administration.
Okay,
But because of the situation that we're facing right now globally, in terms of a variant strain, and we know that this variant strain is very infectious, it's led to a very serious situation in the UK that they've changed their vaccination protocol. UK has changed the vaccination protocol that the second dose, instead of being given on 28 days, they have extended it to 12 weeks so that more and more people can be vaccinated and given some protection against the new mutant strain that is there. So keeping that in mind, I think this type of authorization or approval has been given, which is just as a backup in my mind.
Okay, so Dr. Guleria, that's an extremely important clarification and analysis coming from you, especially given the, so there's so much of possibility for misinformation in this regard that it's important that we bring our viewers exactly what is happening. Now, I just want to drill down on this a little further because assuming there is somebody who's going to go and get a vaccine, or perhaps a healthcare worker, a frontline worker, on what basis is it decided whether that person is going to get the Serum India Institute's vaccine or Bharat Biotech? You said it's a backup, but in terms of the modalities, in terms of the procedure, how does it work out?
So in the early stage, because of the large number of doses that are available, it will be Serum Institute of India vaccine. Then as we move forward, and this is classically done in what we have our universal immunization program. When we have a universal immunization program and vaccines are given to children and pregnant women, there are different companies which come in and give the vaccine. It is just that we need to be sure that the vaccine is efficacious, it is safe, and then it can be administered irrespective of whether it's from company A or from company B. It's only looking at the logistics that come into play. So I think once we are getting, we have need more doses and need more than what Serum Institute is able to provide, the Bharat Biotech will start coming in. Or if we have a situation where, like UK, that we need to vaccinate a large number of people because of a surge in number of cases, I really hope that does not happen. Then we will have to look at this as a backup. Currently, I think the majority of the vaccination, or I would say in the early stage, all of the vaccination actually will be done by the Serum Institute of India vaccine.
Okay, that's a very, very important clarification there coming in, Dr. Guleria, because some concerns have been raised about whether it's too early to trust Bharat Biotech because of the efficacy data being awaited, because, of course, the immunogenicity data is only from 700 participants. Though, would you concede it is a little early, though, to be raising hopes and expectations when it comes to Bharat Biotech?
So the current data that is available in terms of phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 is very encouraging. And like I said, this is a platform which we have used in the past. Most vaccines use the inactivated vaccine platform. The other is this is a whole virion vaccine. So it is very unlikely that any mutation will actually affect this vaccine, and it may be effective as far as any mutation that happens. Therefore, again, we will need more data. I do agree with you that we need more robust data, especially good phase 3 data, before we are very confident about the safety and efficacy of the vaccine. But current data suggests that the vaccine is really safe. Efficacy data will emerge in the next few days or weeks. But as a backup, I think it's important that we have something available, because globally the situation as far as COVID is concerned is not very good. We are in a much better position. Our cases are coming down. Our mortality rate is much lower. But we don't want that to change. We don't want that. We already know that there are around 29 cases of the variant which we've already identified in our country. There may be many more. And if suddenly there's a spike in the number of cases in our country, we have to be proactive. We have to be prepared to do something. I think this is a step in that direction. I don't think this is trying to really replace the Serum Institute of India vaccine. That is going to be the main vaccine in the coming weeks because of the number of doses and the data that is available not only from India but at a global level.
Okay, Dr. Guleria, I do appreciate you speaking to Mirror now. Just finally, what is the road ahead? Now, what happens now that this vaccine has been given the go-ahead by the DCGI? We've already seen nationwide dry runs happening. How does the process proceed now from here, from this point?
Challenging because we have to now vaccinate a large number of individuals and not once but twice. This a lot of work has been done over the last few months in terms of smoothing this process. We have trainings being done. We've had dummy runs being done yesterday. A whole app has been created. The CoWIN app and the line listing or data entry of individuals who need to be vaccinated has been prepared. A mechanism of how they will be informed and how the date of their vaccination will be fixed is also being worked out. And even individuals with comorbidities, how to identify them, it has also been worked out. So I think that a lot of planning has been done, and now we should roll it out. I do agree that in any process of this magnitude, there will be some stumbling blocks and some issues that may come up. But I think we're quite well prepared to tackle them, and we should be able to have a relatively smooth rollout in the next few days.
Well, Dr. Guleria, I do appreciate you taking time speaking to Mirror now. I'm sure as the Prime Minister has also appreciated the work of healthcare workers and frontline workers, I'm sure a lot of us are also grateful to you. You have, of course, been speaking to the media daily, been the face in many ways of India's anti-COVID fight as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Randeep Guleria, for speaking to Mirror now.